Hello Marvel Rivals newbies, this is Suspect Amy. Here's a quick video covering the sad truth about game mechanics when it comes to female vanguards in Marvel Rivals. Then I'll finish the video off with your 10 most requested Marvel tank girls based on comments from my last video. Don't worry, I'm not suddenly a Marvel content creator. I promise this will be my last video on this subject. To start with, let's lay some ground rules so that this new list doesn't fall into the same trap as my old list. Video game tanks, especially in shooters, need to be big. I know this seems arbitrary, but 20 years of shooter design has perfected this concept, so it's best not to mess with it. Some games have and failed miserably. I'm looking at you, Concord. The two biggest reasons are that you should be able to differentiate tanks from non-tanks in the distance, and tanks need to be able to stand in front of a couple of teammates and shield them from damage because that's kind of their job. The smallest vanguard is Captain America, so any female figure like Black Widow here would need to be expanded to at least be his height. That's already a bit odd, but the biggest problem is his width. You would need to widen females a lot to be a useful vanguard, and that kind of ruins what makes them female. Emma Frost is more or less confirmed to be the next female vanguard, so speculation is that she will likely be a tad larger than most females and also have a huge fur coat or something to expand her hitbox. The other thing I learned is that while it's fun to try and think of new mechanics around being a vanguard, for example, Groot's walls, in reality most tanks are just punching bags and there's really not a lot of wiggle room there. When I suggested Shadowcat, I thought to myself, hey, if Magneto can push a button and put up a shield to soak 1,000 damage, then Shadowcat can push a button and evade 1,000 damage. It's the same thing, right? Very wrong. Since they can't block damage, Evasion Tanks have to draw enemy fire away from their team, but there is no aggro system to force this to happen, so she'll just get ignored and be useless. That's not to say all of my fun new tank ideas were duds. Moon Girl was a big hit, even sparking some discussion on what her kit would look like. If you ever played a hunter in World of Warcraft, you would be familiar with this playstyle. You would play as Moon Girl in the backline, commanding Devil Dinosaur to guard certain areas or attack certain heroes. Her skills would be based around escaping danger, supporting her pet, and invoking pet abilities. To make it viable in-game, she would have to be the size of Rocket Raccoon, and Devil Dinosaur could only be as tall as Groot or Monster Hulk, who are probably the largest heroes. If this seems way off base, there are other pet-based Marvel heroes who could easily fit this bill and be just as fun to play. Okay, enough of that nerdy stuff. Let's get to the 10 most requested female vanguards for Marvel Rivals. Courtesy of you, my viewers. Honorable mentions go to Thundra and Gamora. Secretly, I'm kind of glad Gamora didn't get enough votes to make the list because I think we can all agree it would be a crime if she wasn't a duelist. A special shout out to symbiotic girls like Mania, Silence, Agony, and my new favorite, Nikroko. While individually they didn't get very many votes, collectively female symbiotes got a lot of love from the community and I wanted to give them props. Any one of these girls would make amazing vanguards in Marvel Rivals. Number 1. She-Hulk. By a mile. I didn't include her in my original list because we already have Hulk and her reputation took a hit from the TV show. But comic fans loudly said, we don't give a rat's bum about any of that crap and we want her in the game. There was surprisingly high demand for Red She-Hulk, who is a completely different hero than Hulk's cousin and may fit the Vanguard role a bit better than a lawyer would. I'm pretty sure the community wouldn't care which version of She-Hulk we get as long as we get one. Number 2. Armor. Hisako's ability is to generate a translucent, samurai-style exoskeleton around herself makes her one of the best, if not the best, Marvel female for the Vanguard role. Sure, we already have another Japanese girl riding inside of some armor, but is there really such a thing as too many adorable Japanese girls? I think not. Number 3. Rogue. I left her off my list because I was so confused about her powers. She has a really wild arc. Also, leaks were pointing at her being already in development as a strategist, but that turned out to be fake news. Everyone's favorite Rogue sims to the sassy X-Men 97 version of her after she absorbs Captain Marvel's powers. The only downside to Rogue is that she's too small to be a Vanguard. I can't think of good ideas around expanding her headbox other than giving her wild hair, which is honestly my favorite hairstyles for her. Speaking of wild hair, number 4, Medusa. All you hitbox-sized gaming nerds have to agree that Medusa checks every box for being a Vanguard. Although, in the comics she's more offensive than defensive, the fact that her hair has super strength and can be controlled at will makes for some extremely fun gameplay ideas. Number 5. Miss Marvel. Kamala Khan received a ton of votes. Making Miss Marvel a Vanguard is an excellent way to differentiate her from Mr. Fantastic and seems a bit more lore accurate. She can be permanently oversized in-game to satisfy the headbox requirements, and in her TV show, she was given the ability to bend light to create barriers. Number 6. Big Bertha. By day, she is Ashley Crawford, the perfect supermodel, but when it's crime-fighting time, she turns into Big Bertha. Crazy durable, super strength, and can jump super far. To be honest, her kit sounds a lot like a hilarious version of Hulk. The main difference being how she purges her extra weight to get back down to her model size. Yikes! Number 7. Titania. She-Hulk's main rival, is perfect to play a Vanguard in the game. She's definitely larger than Captain America, so her hitbox wouldn't be a problem, and her powers line up incredibly well for the Vanguard role. It would be a shame if the game added She-Hulk and not Titania, because it sounds like they had some of the most iconic female brawls across all of Marvel. Number 8. Phoenix. I don't really care which version of Phoenix they add to the game, but Jean Grey being corrupted into Dark Phoenix is probably one of the most famous storylines in X-Men. Her surrounding flames would expand her hitbox nicely, and having the ability to revive herself and her team is a crazy Vanguard skill that would instantly put her at the top of everyone's ban list. Number 9. Agatha. I love that so many commenters voted for another witch to be added to the game. Let's be honest, Wanda could use some more team-ups. Agatha is a great choice here because she could have some sort of gameplay mechanic where she sustains herself by draining life force from nearby enemies. I'm not sure how lore accurate this would be, but it was a great suggestion in the comments. The only concern goes back to her hitbox size. Nonetheless, she received enough votes for 9th place, so here she is. Number 10. Crescent. I'm so happy a hero similar to Moon Girl was voted into the top 10. These two even have it out for each other in the comics, with the main difference being that Moon Girl's abilities revolve around her intelligence, while Crescent is a highly skilled martial artist. This may make her the better choice for a fighting game. Anyways, special thanks to the Marvel community for being so kind and patient with a girl like me, who isn't very knowledgeable about the comics but just wanted to have a fun discussion around female vanguards. That's all I have for today. Thanks for watching my video. Bye everyone.